morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Randa, and if you're new here, this is Randa's Crafty Vlog. I go through and talk about crafts, I talk about my life, we read Reddit stories, we have a good time, it's fantastic. Here's another start to the week. I do a little clip every single day until you get a full thing at the end of the week. So today is Monday, August 15th. It is restock day. Woo! So for the two restock scents this week, I have Mango Madness and Violet. A1 fun time. And so if you are interested, maybe try and snag those. If not, then especially because this is probably coming out on a Friday or a Saturday, which means next week's restock is probably more prevalent to you than this week's restock. So let me tell you what it is once I can pull it up on my calendar. It is oatmeal cookie dough and pumpkin pie. We're getting really into the fall scents, so we've got some pumpkin pie coming. And then for the for the fall, next couple of weeks after this, it'll be a lot of fall scents, a lot of really amazing stuff. So, be prepared for that. That is on Monday the 22nd. But yeah, so it's restock day. I'm getting some work done today, and I have a couple videos that I want to film for YouTube. I have a big box over there that I'm gonna go pull over here, but I got it from Amazon in the mail yesterday, and for those of you who have seen, if you saw my last stash video where I went through Gems Flow with my diamond paintings, you saw that my craft closet is a fucking disaster. And I hate it. My entire house is really quite organized. Under the sink, everywhere, in the kitchen, in both bathrooms, they're all organized. The fridge is organized a very certain way. All my cabinets and drawers are organized a very certain way. Closets are usually organized a very certain way. The one thing that is still standing out to me that I want to fix is my pantry, because my pantry is kind of a fucking disaster. And this fucking closet. So I ordered a shelf that I'll show you guys when that video goes up. And I got some bins, and I want to try my best to organize my craft closet a little bit. I am going to film it so that you guys can see. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So I'm going to film that today, at least part of it. And then I want to continue filming my how I organize my cross-stitch floss video. I started it on Thursday or something, thinking that I'd be able to sit down and do it in one sitting. And I got maybe a fourth or a third of the way through doing it, and I was 2 hours in and exhausted. So it's okay, that's not happening. So I want to film part 2 of that today, where I continue doing that. So we'll see. Probably just the organizing video will go up this week, but we'll see. If not, I have a fun idea for a series I want to do, and I want to call it Falling in Love with My Stash Again. And that's basically going to be pulling out some of my old kits from my stash, unboxing them, and really taking another look at them, do it sort of like an unboxing video to really remember what I have in my stash, remember why I purchased it. Because whenever I get a new diamond painting in the mail, I open it and I get so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I have to do it immediately. And then I put it in the closet, and I sort of lose that excitement for it over time. And so it's I want to rekindle my love for some of my diamond paintings. So it's not something that I'll do every week, but every once in a while I'll do a Fall in Love with My Stash Again video and pull out a diamond painting and talk about it and do an unboxing style video, but with something that's already in my stash. I think it'll be a really good time. So if one of those two videos doesn't go up this week, then I'll do a Falling in Love with My Stash video. But I got a lot in the works. And then I got a decently busy week. I'm meeting with my, employee, that's the word. I'm meeting with my employee on Thursday, and then I have a doctor's appointment on Friday, and then therapy appointment tomorrow, and then tomorrow night is girls' night, and then on Saturday there's I need to put that on my calendar. I know there's a birthday party for my sister. Like, we've got a little bit of a busy week, but it's going to be a good one. I'm very excited about it. So, that's kind of it for what's going on today. Perry and I had a very good weekend. We didn't really have anything planned, which was fantastic. And so on Saturday, I was planning on it having it being like a full day cleaning day. Like, I usually try to do, like, when we have weekends like that, I try to make it so that we do chores on Saturday and then we do whatever we want on Sunday. So on Saturday, he had his friend with his motorcycle. I always call it the pimp mobile because it's like a bright teal blue motorcycle and like the seat looks more like a saddle than it does a seat. It's got like really old looking saddlebags on the side. Like, it's a Harley Davidson, and it just looks like a pimp mobile to me. So that's what I call it. So it's his coworker Lawrence has the pimp mobile, and whenever it needs fixing, he brings it to our house in our garage, and pays Perry to fix it. It's a really fantastic side gig for Perry. He claims that he's like, that he needs to like open a little business called Perry Fix It All, and like he just fixes things. Because then I think next weekend he has one of our old neighbors from when we lived at the apartment. We had a neighbor who now wants him to like help fix his car. And so he's going to be bringing his car next weekend, and Perry's going to fix it. And so it's like he's now like accumulating this little customer base, and I'm very proud of him. So Lawrence came with the bike last weekend. It was like easy $150 for Perry, which was fantastic. And while that was going on, I was trying to clean the house, but I like kind of felt like crap on Saturday. I don't really know why. I think I didn't get a very good night's sleep. So I ended up like really not feeling well, and only got like halfway through my cleaning before I fell asleep on the couch. So I got everything done except for the fact that I still need to clean the bathrooms, and I also need to like vacuum the floor. Neither of which I have done yet. So maybe if I have a little bit of time today, we'll fucking see though, because I have a lot of grand plans for today. And so yeah, it was like a semi-productive. And then I forgot to order like groceries and stuff, and so we had to get our groceries on Sunday instead of Saturday, so it messed up my whole schedule. But then on Sunday, we did oh, excuse me. We did a tiny bit of extra research, and we realized that for those of you who don't know, actually, 3 months ago, we planted 2 trees in our backyard, one in each corner. They're about 40 feet away from each other, 50 feet away from each other. And they're both pin oaks. That's what they're called. I know. I didn't believe it at first either. But they're supposed to be like these gigantic, really like shady trees, really fantastic. They're oak trees. And one of them is fucking thriving, doing fantastic. Leaves look beautiful, looks very healthy. And then the other one has been struggling since the minute we planted him into the ground. And they get the same amount of light, they get the same amount of water. We cannot figure out why one tree is struggling and one tree isn't. I'm not a fucking tree expert. I didn't realize that trees actually took as much work as they do. And so I was like, I don't know what to do with it. So after a lot of research and a lot of whatever, we did like a scratch test on the tree, and we realized that it was dead. It is a dead tree. So, and we did a comparison scratch test on the other tree that was definitely alive, and we were like, yeah, no, that's a dead tree. And then we've been thinking about the tree that's in our front yard, because, you know, of course, when they built the houses, they planted one tree in the front yard of every yard. I have no idea what kind of tree this is, but what I do know is that it hasn't bloomed since the moment we got here. And the one that's literally right across the street, I'm staring at it right now, has leaves on it. It looks beautiful. So I'm like, the fact that we have not seen this tree with leaves on it ever. And I know that they took horrible care of the lawn, both front and back, before we moved in. What do you want to guess that tree's dead to? And so we did the scratch test, and sure enough, it was dead also. So we're like, all right, we called Lowe's, which is where we got the pin oaks. And we were like, we've only had this tree for 3 months. The other one is thriving. This one's already dead. I don't know what happened to it. Whatever. Can we return it? And they said, yes, you can return it, but you have to bring the tree into the store in order to return it. I said, fine. So on Sunday, we dug that tree out of the ground and brought it to Lowe's and returned it. So we got like $118 back because that tree was like $109. It was fucking expensive. And we're going to use that to buy another tree. But unfortunately, trees are not really in season right now. So Lowe's didn't have any trees out, and then we went to our local hardware store called Hank's Hardware, where they usually have a ton of beautiful trees, and they didn't have any trees. They did say that they were going to have some fall trees here coming pretty soon, but summer, it's not really planting season. And so it's like, shit. So we're thinking about next weekend possibly going to a local tree farm near us and seeing if we can get some trees there. But I also need to put in a design request for the front tree because we live in an HOA and you have to get approval for everything that you do. So we have to get an approval to put a new tree up front, even though it's like, oh, let me replace this dead one with an alive one. Is that okay with you? I don't know. I have to check. So, so we'll see, but that should be approved. I'm not worried that it's not going to get approved. I just have to get it approved before we can dig this one out of the ground and then go get a new tree. So we now have like a random empty hole in our backyard and then a dead tree in the front. But Timothy, the other tree, is thriving and living his best life. So then while we were out on Sunday, we also, because we have like 4 flowers right outside this window at the front of our house, and one of them died. The other 3 were okay. And so we replaced the one that had died, and we did that at Hank's Hardware, and it was really cool. And this is why I love shopping at Hank's Hardware, because it's a local small-owned business. It's a small business, and it's like a guy and his wife, and they run the shop together, the hardware store together, and it's really cute and fun. And so I love shopping there, and I think he kind of recognized us. We bought, we've inquired about trees there, and then we've bought a lot of flowers and a lot of gardening supplies and a lot of nonsense. And so when we went in there, they usually have a huge, wide selection of flowers. And this is what I mean by it's not planting season, because they had like almost no flowers. But we did find one that we liked, and so we take it up to the front, and he's like, I'm not going to charge you for the flowers. And I was like, what? He was like, no, I'm not going to. And he was like, in fact, if there's another like thing of flowers out there that you want, just go ahead and take them. Oh, okay. Like, we were like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, that's so whatever, and so we thought about taking another bunch of flowers, but we were like, we don't really have a spot to plant them in, so I don't know what we do with them. And so we didn't grab another bunch of flowers, but we planted the flowers we planted them yesterday, and they're looking fantastic. So very happy with them and very thankful to Hank and his hardware store. So we really want to buy trees from him, but if they don't have them, we kind of need trees, and I don't know when his fall ones are coming in. And that was the problem. We went to Hank's Hardware at first just to look at the trees, and then we had this intention. They had some really beautiful like blazing maples, and that was the idea for what we were going to put in the backyard. But then when we went back to actually purchase the trees, they didn't have any maples. And they didn't have any trees that we particularly liked. And so then we went to Lowe's and saw the pin oaks and fell in love. But we're hoping for the front tree that we're able to go back to Hank's and get another maple. But I don't know when he's going to have maples again. So we're going to go to the tree farm and see what we think. Probably next weekend we'll go to the tree farm. But we're very domesticated. We're very in love with our lawns and our plants and our whatever. I feel like I live a very suburban life, And I got, oh my God, they're like coming back into style now. I remember like my mom wearing them when I was young. The like hair claws, the claw clips that go in your hair, the great big ones. They're now like coming back into style. And it's so funny because I don't remember, I always throughout my whole life would have gotten made fun of for wearing one. And I don't like, the last time I saw my mom wear one was like in the, early 2000s or something. And so when I saw them they really like started coming back into style and I really liked them. I bought one and I was wearing it all weekend. I was wearing my hair in a like bunched in a claw back here. Not only did it look so fucking cute, it also kept the hair out of my face because I'm a sensory nightmare. And so I have to keep, hair drives me insane. So I usually have to try to keep it out of my face somehow. And so it was really nice. It was a really cute way to keep it out of my face that wasn't just like my normal bun that I really just, it's the best, most effective way, the easiest way, and the most effective way to keep hair out of my face, but it's not the most flattering. So it was really nice to have something that I could, go about, do whatever in, and not like, and still look cute doing it. But I'm now on like my third day without washing my hair, so now it's in a bun. I'm gonna wash it tonight. So but yeah, that was it. That was basically all we did. We went and picked up our groceries. It was a good time. Like we didn't, it was a pretty chill weekend. And and then we took Ash to the lake, which was a very good time. We did in the afternoon after we were done with the tree in the morning. We did go to the lake, and Perry got to ride on his jet ski a little bit, and then we took Ash to the 69-acre dog park, and it was a good time. She loves the 69-acre dog park. She got to swim in the lake. She got to have a good time, and she came back so sleepy, and she was such a good girl, and we love her so much. So that was about it. Nothing crazy. And then I did get a little bit of crafting done. So I haven't diamond painted at all, but I did cross stitch. And so I've gotten all the way down to where I only have like a couple rows left here before I move the Q snap down, which is very exciting. So I've almost fully filled in these two pieces, and then it moves on to something else once you get down here. So very fun that we're getting very close to a page finish here. It ends right there. So like right where that last stitch is where the page ends. So I'm very excited. We'll only have 2 pages left after this, and then this cross stitch pattern is complete. I'm so excited about it. And then I need you guys to help me pick out what I want to do next after I'm finished with this cross stitch, because honestly I have no idea. But anyway, let's move on to a Reddit story. I've been blabbing for 17 minutes. I went on Am I the Asshole, and literally picked out the very first one that popped up because I went, oh yeah, we need to read that one. This was posted 3 hours ago. It already has a couple of rewards. It has 3.8 thousand upvotes already, and it's called Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Go to a Pride Event with My Wife? I guess for those of you who don't know, we are very pride proud on this channel. I am bisexual myself, so I have very little patience for anything of that sort that's not just supportive. So I'm very interested to see what his reasons are for refusing to go to a pride event with his wife. Oh my God, your life is ending. All right. I mean, I hope he has some damn good reasons. Let's see. I, 30 male, am married to a bisexual woman, 28 female. This is exactly the same circumstance because Perry is like pretty much straight as could be. And I am bisexual. And so it's a very common dynamic that I've seen is the very like straight guy with the bi wife, and and so I bet I could relate to this very well. I'll preface this by saying that I am in no way homophobic or bigoted. I never had a problem with my wife's identity itself. I mean, the fact that you have to preface it, I don't know, it could be, I don't know. The thing is, she is very vocal and showy about it. She has a lot of pride things and clothes and whatnot. Sometimes she just wears rainbow stuff instead of bisexual colors too. So there's been incidents when people think she's just gay and don't realize I'm her husband. And honestly gets a little exhausting. We haven't even like really gotten into the problem, and I already don't really like this guy. Do I save my comments for that? I'll save my comments. She says that she doesn't like it when people assume she's straight just because she's married to a man, and doesn't want a big part of her identity that she struggled with to be erased. Still, it feels like she's almost ashamed of me. Oh, you poor, sad, pathetic little man. There's a big end of summer pride thing. It's also to raise money for LGBT kids and whatnot. I have no problem with her going, but she wants me to come with. Says that it's really important to her, and she even got me an ally shirt. That's really cute. I told her no because it's not my thing, and she got upset. She said that she doesn't feel like I'm supportive of her identity, and I replied that maybe she needs to focus less on her identity and more on her current relationship. Oh. She's been very icy with me since. I get that I probably was a bit mean, but still, am I the asshole? Yes, you're the fucking asshole. Yes, you're the fucking asshole. I've never gone to a pride event because frankly, it's not my thing. It's not something that like super interests me. And so, you know, obviously I'm not like, hey babe, come to a pride event with me, because I frankly am not going to a pride event. I'm way too antisocial for that. But if I said, babe, there's this pride event, you know, hey Perry, there's this pride event and it's really important to me and it would really mean a lot to me if you came with me, he would like drop anything and everything that he was doing to come with me. If he knew it's not what he would choose to do at all. But if he knew it was important to me, he'd be there. He'd wear the ally t-shirt. He'd be there. So this man, I don't like him because I think that he totally doesn't realize the struggle that sexuality really is when you're not just straight. It's like I had an unbelievably supportive household when I came out. I didn't come out until like a year ago. So I came out while I was with Perry and, you know, living with him and not at home. And my mom is like the most supportive person when it comes to that stuff. So is my sister. Perry was completely it was basically like oh, you are? Okay, cool. Like, not a big deal. And yet, when I didn't cry when I told Perry, but when I told my mom, I like burst into tears. And she did for a moment kind of look at me like I was crazy, because she was like, you know I'm not going to be like upset. Like, why are you crying? Like, you know I'm not going to be like mad at you for this. You know I have no problem with this. Why are you crying? And it wasn't because I thought she was going to be upset with me, but for some reason, it is extremely emotional. And frankly, I can't even begin to tell you why. It's just like, I couldn't tell you why. It's like the person that I should have technically been the most worried about was Perry, and it just kind of like slipped out and I didn't care. But when it came to telling my mom, I mean, I did still care when I told Perry, but I didn't like burst into tears like I did with her. I don't know what it was. It's like you get nervous and you get, you know, like I've never been ashamed of myself, and yet like it's a big fucking deal. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that, because I have had points in my life where I didn't realize that before I came to the realization, I was like, Oh, so like what's so hard with like telling your supportive family, and what's so hard with like identifying yourself that way? You just are. Like it's not that big of a deal. And then when it came to, oh wait, then it becomes a much bigger deal. And it's really hard to explain, and it's hard to explain if you've never experienced it, but it's there. And so what she's doing by wearing the rainbows, bisexual colors, the things, the clothes, the whatever, she is trying to finally, she probably came out while they were married or while they were together. This is probably a piece of her that she's never been able to really experience. And so she's trying to embrace who she really is. And the fact that he calls it exhausting for people to assume here's what he says. So there's been incidents when people think she's just gay and don't realize I'm her husband. It honestly gets a little exhausting. Your fucking point? She's wearing a ring, isn't she? You're wearing a ring, aren't you? You're married. What? Like, who cares if other people assume that she's gay? I've never understood that. And then she says that she doesn't like it when people assume that she's straight just because she's married to a man, and doesn't want a big part of her identity that she's struggled with to be erased. I I resonate with that on such a large level. It's part of why I have no problem telling people that I'm bisexual, because now listen, this is not to shame people who aren't educated on LGBT stuff. I know that there are a lot of people who didn't grow up around this kind of stuff, and so they have no idea. So it's not to shame those people. I'm happy to answer questions. But the most common question that I get is, oh, but you're in a relationship with a man, so you're no longer bisexual, right? And I go, no, it's not how this works. It's like, just because of your relationship status doesn't define your sexuality. It can be any number of things, any combination of the things. So just because I'm in a relationship with a man doesn't mean that I'm not also attracted to women still. And if I was in a relationship with a woman, it doesn't mean that I'm not still attracted to a man. That was not English. You can do either or. And you can be in a relationship with a man and still identify yourself as, like, what's the word? Oh my God, I'm blanking on the term. No, it's not polyamorous. That's different. What is it? Where you're attracted to anybody and everybody and it doesn't matter. Oh my God, I have no idea. I can't remember what it's called. But either way, you can define yourself with whatever sexuality you want, and the only thing where I think that crosses a line is if you say but there are people who do this, and so this is part where I'm not so sure either, and maybe I need to educate myself. Is that if you are in a relationship with a man, but you consider yourself a full-blown lesbian, then I'm like, how? But I know I've met some people who have said, he is the only man I have ever been attracted to. He is the only man that I am attracted to. My husband is the only man I'm attracted to. And otherwise it's just women. But that's still technically bisexual, right? So I don't know. That's a part where I don't know. But either way, I feel the same way, because a lot of people assume I'm straight because I'm in a hetero relationship. And because I came out after I was in a relationship with a man, I never got to explore that side of me. And my intentions are to marry this man and stay with him forever. And so I'm never, if things go by plan, I'm never going to get to experience that. And so that is like, it's almost like mourning a part of you, it's like a process that you have to come to terms with the fact that you're never going to get to explore that side of you. And it always makes me wish I would have discovered earlier so that I could have, but it's also in the grand scheme of things, not a big enough deal to, like, obviously, like, call off my relationship or anything. Like, that's not happening. So she's probably doing very similar, that she's in a relationship with a man, but she's trying to embrace this other side of her, this big part of her identity. And the fact that he goes, it feels like she's almost ashamed of me. Boy, she's married to you. You do realize that she could probably dump your ass and go get a hot ass girl. Okay, like so hot. I bet you she's hot, okay? I don't know why, I just bet you she's hot. And so she could go get a hot ass girlfriend and a hot ass wife if she wanted to. And yet she's choosing to be with you. And yet you think she's ashamed of you? If she was ashamed of you, she would divorce you. It's like, that's... Do you have no sympathy for your wife, for the struggle, for the whatever? Like, if Perry ever said that to me, I would beat his face in, because, like, what the fuck? But he would never say that to me. Yeah. And so the fact that you don't want to, that you won't go with her, if only the end sentence was the thing, was that just like, it's not really my thing, I don't know, I would still kind of think you're an asshole because it's important to your wife. I don't think you're homophobic, I just think you're a weak ass man. Like, that you're not confident in yourself and in your bi wife. You know, like, because if it was just that last sentence of, I don't know, babe, it's not really my thing, I would still say you're the asshole because you know how important it is to her and you're still refusing to go. But with all this other context, you're the worst, man. Like, you're not straight up homophobic, but you're a weak ass man. That's my take on that. Let's see what the comments have to say. They're probably going to rip him to shreds. They still haven't locked the post yet, so maybe they haven't. Yeah, this top comment with like a literal crap ton of edits has a big red box, or edits, awards, has a big red box around it. It quotes where OP says, "Still, it feels like she's almost ashamed of me." And that's my least favorite sentence in the whole thing. And this comment responds and says, "If she was ashamed of you, she wouldn't be asking you to come with. If anything, it sounds like you're ashamed of her and want her to bury her identity away. Support your wife, you're the asshole." That's the other part I didn't touch on. The sentence where it says, oh geez, "She said that she doesn't feel like I'm supportive of her identity, and I replied that maybe she needs to focus less on her identity and more on her current relationship." Get fucking wrecked, bro. I do not like this man. That's not... You are, by that sentence, you are telling her to bury her identity, and you are telling her to bury her feelings, and that's not okay. Let's see what the next comment to that says this: "If anything, her identity gives her a broader dating pool, yet out of all available men and women she could have picked, she still chose to be with and marry OP. That's the literal opposite of being ashamed of him. OP, don't make her regret that choice." The next one says, yeah, by erasure? I don't know what that means, is a big thing. She is fighting it by showing her colors to her husband. OP, you're the asshole. You might have some hidden biases you're not aware of, or just ignorance. Do you know bis face discrimination from gays and heterosexuals? Support her and the cause unless you don't think it's a good cause. Yeah, this one says, agreed. As a bi person in a hetero relationship, I have seen / been watching that part of my identity disappear over my relationship. I have even been jokingly called the token straight. Pre-marriage, I was asked in a gay bar if I was gay, straight, or confused. My response: I'm not gay, I'm not straight, and I'm definitely not confused. Bi Erasure, Erasure. What the fuck does that mean? Is a thing and can be hurtful. If OP truly embraces his wife's identity, he would show up for her. Jeez. Yeah, and some people talk about the, oh, and I love so you're straight now comment. That's what I mean, is that the people who have asked me that, I know it's coming from a place of they truly don't understand the sexuality in it. They kind of understand you're either straight or you're gay. You either like the same sex or you like the opposite sex. And that they don't understand much more past that. And so I am all about like educating people. And so it's like I had no problem answering those questions. And if anybody has questions, you're free to ask them. So it's like I was never like upset with them for asking that, but it is a very common thing of like, oh, so you're not in a relationship with a woman, therefore you're straight now. And I'm like, no, I'm in a straight relationship technically, but that doesn't mean anything about how I identify with myself. So let's see who else has to say something. They're all just responding to the top comment. Oh yeah, so this comment quotes, I'll preface by saying that I am in no way homophobic or bigoted. The comment goes, wait for it. The next quote, the thing is, she is very vocal and showy about it, end quote. And here is the homophobic comment. OP, you are clearly bothered by your wife's activism, even when it's an important part of her personality and so important to her. You're the asshole. Yeah, everybody is kind of laying into him a little bit. She literally invited you to a very public event as her spouse and ally. This is who she is. This is the woman you married. Yes, you should go with her, and you're the asshole. If you're feeling unappreciated or left out of this relationship, maybe some couples counseling is in order. Woo, my favorite thing is preach some counseling. But also, I can't tell. I kind of think this guy truly does have some like, that it's less about being homophobic and more about just being plain insecure. And so have a conversation with your wife, because I get it can be, especially when you're going to like a big event like that, if you're not completely confident in your relationship with your wife, I could see sitting at this event being like, is she looking at these other women? Is she thinking about these other women? Is she, whatever? And in the very insecure mind, I could see him doing that. And in that case, that is more of a you counseling than a couples counseling, because I feel like there's definitely some insecurity on his part, and it's less homophobia and more just fucking insecure. Like I said, his wife is probably fucking hot, so we don't know. That's it. It was 3 hours ago. There's no way there's an update, but I want to see if there's any comments from him. Okay. So there are a couple comments from him that I'll read to you. This one says, soft, you're the asshole. So not completely the asshole, but kind of you're the asshole. She's free to invite you. You're free to decline the invitation. Once you said that she should focus more on your relationship and less on her identity is where you have unknowingly, I'm guessing, fucked up. That felt like you were making her choose one between you or her sexuality, and we don't need to point out how old of a saying choose one is to bisexuals. It's okay to not want to go, but this is a conversation to have with your wife about expectations. There's a lot of compulsive heterosexuality in the bisexual community, and we're all aware of it. So compulsive heterosexuality in the bisexual community. I need to do some more research. I don't know what that means. But she may be feeling the need to overcompensate from internalized feelings of not being bi enough. So in comes the rainbow suit, the ally shirt, the merch, the decorations, etc. Info. Have you told her that it feels like she's ashamed of you? What exactly does she do that makes you feel like she's ashamed of you? And OP responds to this and says, my biggest thing is that she corrects people when they assume she's straight. I don't feel like it matters what they think because she is in a straight relationship. Unless she's planning on leaving me to go be with some chick at some point, I don't see why it's relevant at all. He's an insecure, weak little man. I'm sticking with that. He is an insecure, weak little man. Then the only other comment that he's responded to is, question, where are y'all going and what are you doing that her sexual orientation is brought up and needs to be corrected all the time? Maybe it's because I live in a small town, but this isn't a normal topic of conversation around here. I don't care who my friends love as long as they are happy. And OP responds and says, it's admittedly only happened a few times. People assume she's just an ally because she's with me. People's assumptions don't fucking matter. And it's only happened a few times. And he answered, he feels like she's ashamed of him because unless she's planning on leaving me to go be with a chick at some point, I don't see why it's relevant at all. It is relevant. It's like saying, I'm trying to think. It's like saying the fact that you were like an athlete in college. A lot of people think of that as part of their identity, that they are an athlete. And it's like saying that isn't relevant because now you like to crochet. You know, it's all still relevant. Always. And especially with such a sensitive subject like sexuality, it's even more relevant. So she doesn't have to be planning on leaving you to go be with a chick in order for it to be relevant. Your sexuality is still valid. It doesn't matter what your relationship status is. And thank you for getting heated with me, because I got a little heated. I just want to educate this man and then pay for his counseling because he needs help with his confidence, that's for sure. I've been talking for 41 fucking minutes. I'm going to get off the freaking thing now. That's it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, August 16th. It's 11:23 in the morning. I have to leave for therapy in less than an hour, so we got to get a fucking move on with this. I'm wearing my claw clip today. I for some reason I'm not liking it as much in the front as I usually do. Maybe I need to play with it a little more before I leave the house, but I tell Perry that when I wear this, I feel like I'm in my true suburban mom form. I'm in my true form as a suburban mom, because that's what I feel like as a suburban mom. So I kind of gotta hurry this up because we gotta go to therapy. So this is what I did last night. So I finished this and then I moved it down, filled in this black over here, and then started doing this, which is like a what is it called? You know, those where sometimes on windmills they have the thing that looks like a giant wheel that circles water through it. That's what this thing is. I don't know what that's called, but that's what it is. But yeah, that was fun. Gonna keep doing that today. And yesterday was good. It was busy, but it was good. And today I'm just going to therapy. That's kind of it. So, and then we got our paycheck, so I need to pay my employee, pay myself, all the good stuff. Am I bleeding? I might be. So I have a Reddit story that I think is going to be a little bit longer than usual because I already know there's an update. So let's just kind of get started because like I said, I have only a half an hour until I need to leave for therapy. I did not plan my morning very well. So this was in when you go to the top. I went into Am I the Asshole and then the top stories of all time and scrolled down a little bit and found the update first and then found this. This was posted 2 years ago and there is an update now, but it has 6.8 thousand upvotes and a lot of fucking comments and whatever. So, but I figured it could be kind of fun because there's an update to see what happens. So it says, would I be the asshole for planting prickly bushes in my front yard to keep my neighbor's kids away from my property? The overall vote is already not the asshole. So I assume they're doing some damage or whatever, but we'll see. And it says throw away for obvious reasons. I moved into a detached townhouse a few months ago. The fuck is a detached townhouse? That's just a house then, right? That's the whole point of it being a townhouse, is it's attached. Anyway. It's a rental. I'm leasing it for a year and the option to extend that with a second year or possibly buy the house. My driveway is next to the neighbors. It's big enough to fit 2 regular sized cars, and halfway down my driveway there's a path leading around my house. On the side of the path is my house. On the other side, on one side of the path is my house, and on the other side is about 3 meters of yard that's mine. Okay, neighbor's driveway. My driveway is right next to the neighbor's. So they're separate, I guess. It's big enough to fit 2 regular sized cars, and halfway down my driveway there's a path leading around to my house. On one side is the house, on the other side is 3 meters of yard that's mine. I'm trying to get a visual picture here. Ever since I moved in, I've been having issues with my neighbors using my driveway for parking, turning their cars, storing their other stuff, playing, etc. Asking them to stop using it and keep their items on their own property has not worked, so I placed a few large plants, installed a camera, and a no trespassing sign, and that helped a bit. At least the cars are gone. The no trespassing sign might have been a little much for me. The plants and the camera, I feel you, but the no trespassing sign seems like a lot, but you do you. The last few weeks with the stay home advice, so this was during the very beginnings of COVID, I've been working from home, but the neighbors' kids are making that really hard. They're about 5 and 7 boys, and they keep ringing my doorbell multiple times a day to ask if they can play with my dog. Oh, geez. If I want to play with them or anything else they can think of. Oh, Jesus. I asked them to stop it so I can work, which of course didn't work. So I asked their parents and was told boys will be boys and they weren't going to do anything about it. Frowny face. Oh, hell no. To keep my sanity intact, I removed the battery from the doorbell, but now they keep running around in my front yard and on the path around my house, banging on the windows, banging on my door, and actually tried to open the gate to my backyard this morning as they heard me in there. I once again asked them to stop, told them I will not be allowing them to play with the dog anymore at all if they keep this up, and they left, sending over their dad. I told him to keep the boys away from my property and door. If not, I'll be planting some prickly bushes to teach them to stay away from other people's property and shut the door in his face. Would I be the asshole if I actually did that? I'd love to place a fence or something, but as it may be a short-term rental, I have to be able to return everything in its original state for now. There's an edit. I'm getting a lot of comments about social distancing and lack of isolation of the boys. I'm from the EU. My country isn't on lockdown, and it's, or was, I'm not 100% sure anymore, advised to let small children play outside. I wasn't worried about that part. I was worried about these parents that are letting their kids just like bother other people in the middle of the day. If this woman also had kids that were at home and bored and wanted, they're coming like, can little Tommy play with me? That's one thing. But they're like, can I play with the dog? Do you want to play with me? And the fact that she's asked them to stop, she's asked the parents to get them to stop, and nobody's doing nothing. I don't think you'd be the asshole. Do whatever you need to do. Like, that's a lot. Top comment says, not the asshole. Their parents are lazy and sound like they just want you to be a free babysitter. Boys will be boys, shaking my head. The next comment down says, my grandma used to do that. She had a huge corner lot with a ton of flowers and whatever. All the neighborhood kids learned the hard way not to cut across her yard. Once she even hosed down a bunch of kids in January because they were sledding over where her magic lilies were. In her defense, she asked nicely once, then warned them, then out came the hose. I have 2 littles now, and if they ever bothered somebody else's property, I'd die of mortification. It's so rude. That's what I was thinking. If I was the parent of these kids, I'd be fucking mortified. I'd be having a huge conversation with my kids. I'd be bringing this woman cookies. Like, I'm so sorry that my kids are being menaces. Like, hell no. There's a lot of talk about the grandma and her lilies. Hold on, let me go. Let me scroll a little bit. This one says, I would straight up go and ring the parents' doorbell once every 30 minutes or so on for an entire day. What do you want? Quote, what do you want? Just wanted to say hi, and then walk away. Repeat over and over until the parents get fed up. Quote, oh, I'm sorry, is it annoying to have your doorbell rung all day long? End quote. I'd take a sick day just to commit. Let's see what the update is. Let's see what she ended up doing with this, because there is an update. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, the update got even more. She tried to update twice and it got removed, but this last one stayed. And this was also 2 years ago, and it has 50,000 upvotes. So it has even more upvotes than the original one. Update, would I be the asshole for planting prickly bushes in my front yard to keep the neighbor's kids off my property? This has even more traction. It says there's no comments yet. This thread has been locked by the moderators. I guess it was just locked from comments, but so that's sad. But there's a lot of awards on this. I was asked for an update on, and then they linked the post. About a week after my post, I planted a wall of blackberries and raspberries at the two sides of my garden facing the driveway, about 30 centimeters from the edge, so no overhanging branches. On the other side of the berry wall, I planted lots of stuff like strawberries and tomatoes. To reach the tomatoes and strawberries from the driveway, you have to either go through the fruit bushes or walk up to my house. Walk along 2 meters along the side of the house and my windows, and then walk into my actual garden. Not something you do by mistake. Okay. For about 2 weeks, it was somewhat quiet, but I still found the kids on my driveway every single day. As far as I know, they did not enter the garden, and I hadn't noticed them walking around my house anymore, so I figured the bushes were working. About 1 week ago, berry season started, and my bushes are now full of raspberries, and there's lots of strawberries as well. The neighbors noticed. First, I caught the boys picking and eating raspberries, so I told them off and dropped them off at home. Told their mom I caught them stealing, that's how I see it, even though it's fruit, and that I'd call the cops next time. She huffed and told me to grow up, but took the boys inside anyway. You don't just eat other people's fruit off of other people's branches. Again, I would have been mortified. I would have been like, oh my God, let me make you cookies. Like, oh my God, I'd be so mortified. This mom is insane. Anyway, after that, it was quiet up until yesterday afternoon, when I went out for a while and found the dad and his two sons right in the middle of my garden when I returned, clearing my bushes and plants. I didn't even confront them, just called the cops from a distance as they hadn't noticed me yet and started filming them after making the call. They just started digging up her plants? Hello? Oh my God. Luckily, 2 cops showed up after 10 minutes or so, and they confronted the neighbor as they were still picking berries. They told them they were trespassing and that the berry picking was, in fact, considered stealing and that I could press charges. For the first time, I noticed a bit of fear in my neighbor. He was having trouble finding his words and kept looking back at the house, I guess hoping his wife would show up to yell at the cops. They all went inside with the cops, so I just went home as well. After a while, the cops came by and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I asked them if they felt like they scared the neighbors enough to stay away. I got a small smile and yes about him, but the wife had just kept shouting at them and her husband about the little bitch living next door. I told them no for now, asked them if I would be allowed to get an extra camera set up on the wall between my garden and the road to cover the entire front yard and driveway, and they said as long as it's on my side of the wall. They said that's allowed, as long as it's on my side of the wall. So now I'm getting an extra camera installed installed. One neighbor knows I'm done messing around, but his wife isn't there yet. And if I ever catch any of them again, the cops will be called and possible charges will follow. I want to know if she ever had to press charges on them. There's nothing. Nothing. That's funny as shit. These people are fucking insane. That better, I hope that was the last update, because that better have, like, put them in their fucking place, that, like, they're gonna get charges pressed against them for this, and, like, fucking cut it out. Because, no, yeah, the next time they do that, I would have pressed charges, too. Like, that's not, I would have been fuming by the time we got to this point. I'm not a huge, like, you know, stand outside and get off my property type of thing, but, like, that's too much. That's just too much. No, I would have been pissed. So, and again, if I was the mom, I would have been fucking mortified that my kids were being such menaces. And so the fact that she's just like, oh my God. So, no, she's not the asshole. I think she was justified in pretty much everything that she did. The fact that they're still not getting off of her driveway is insanely annoying. That is also trespassing, I'm pretty sure. So, like, no, you totally could press charges, and that's really fucking funny. So, anyway, that's it for today, because I really do need to go, like, get ready and stuff. So, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, August 17th. It's 11:20 in the morning. My hair looks like a hot fucking disaster. It's fine. I am having a really late start and a really non-motivation driven day, because Perry and I both slept like garbage last night. I don't know what was going on, but we both were like tossing and turning. We both were just up all night and frustrated. And so he woke up like miserably exhausted this morning when he had to go to work, and I tried to sleep in but couldn't, because I kept tossing and turning. And so it's like we both just slept like fucking garbage. And I know tomorrow I'm gonna go see my employee, and so I know, and we're gonna pack a bulk order, and we're gonna do a couple other things. So I know that tomorrow's gonna be a busy day. So I'm kind of like just letting today be a fuckery day of like, it's fine. Whatever. Try to keep it as low key as I can, because I'm fucking exhausted, and I know I'm gonna be tired tomorrow. Well, I know I need to not be tired tomorrow, so that, you know, I'm so tired, I'm sorry. I can't fucking think straight. Yesterday was good. Did a little work in the morning, like you saw. Went to therapy, and then right after therapy, went to girls' night, and I had like completely forgot about girls' night. We do girls' night with my mom and my, what is she? Stepsister-in-law? Is that what that is? My stepbrother's wife. Is that what that is? But anyway, it's usually the three of us that get together for girls' night every couple of weeks, and so last night was girls' night, and I had completely fucking forgot about it. I was like halfway home from therapy, and my mom calls me, and I'm like, hey mom, what's up? She's like, so you're coming to my house, right? And I was like, coming to, oh, girls' night, oh my God. She was like, yeah, because we have like the Find My iPhone whatever for each other, Find My Friends, and she doesn't like stalk me on it ever, but like she's like, you know, we have it in case of emergencies and stuff. But she was like, yeah, I thought you were supposed to like be here by now, and so I checked your location to see if you were like on your way or something, and it said you were like halfway home, and I was like, oh, I should call her because she's going home. So thankfully I was like right at the exit that I needed to take to get to her house, and so I was able to just hop on the exit and go to her house, and it was fine. But I was like, I'm so glad you called me and that you checked, because I was going home. I was legitimately going home. And so we had a good girls' night. It was very fun. Talked about a lot of girly things. And then I came home. I didn't get home until like 10 o'clock at night. Perry was very tired. I was very tired. We pretty much like immediately, it was just like shower, pack his lunch, go to bed. It was 10 o'clock. I can't. And then slept like crap, and here we are. So today I know that I have a video I want to finish editing and upload. And then after that, that's kind of the end of my to-do list for today. Because I'm trying to chill the fuck out. And I really I'm kind of in the mood for some binge watching of some like Dr. Phil or Dr. Phil type things, like Paternity Court, or like, what's the other one? I don't know. See if I can watch any of those anywhere, because I have so many like streaming services and I don't know if any of them have those. So, but we'll see. And I told Perry that if he's having a rough day and if coming in, like if he wanted to meet me for lunch and that would make him feel better, then we can do that. So we'll see if he's gonna have time today to meet for lunch, and if he's gonna want to do that, or what, or if he's just gonna want to barrel through his day. So I might do that, but otherwise I do need to go to Walmart and pick up something that they forgot in our weekly order from this weekend, so I have to go and pick that up, which is fucking annoying. But anyway, I don't have any crafting to show you because I didn't craft it all last night because I didn't get home until 10 o'clock at night. But I do have a Reddit story for you today. And, yeah, I had a Reddit story. I went to a different subreddit today. It's called True Off My Chest. I have read stories from here before. This is not like an Am I the Asshole? They don't want advice. They don't want anything. They just want to rant. And that's what it says. So the description says, a place to get personal things off your chest, not for opinions, not for relationship advice, and not for preaching. It's just get it off your chest. So I went to the best of all time True Off My Chest. And I found this one after scrolling for a second. It was posted 2 months ago. It has an unbelievable amount of awards. I don't think I've ever seen this many awards on one post. And it has 75,000 upvotes. And it is called Tomorrow, I'm Going to Ruin His Life. That's it. So I thought it sounded like a really good one to leave. I didn't read the post yet, but I read at the bottom that there's an update. So I can't wait. So, yeah, no, I'm not kidding. There's 3 whole lines across the page worth of awards, hundreds of awards. It's ridiculous. And there's a thing under it that says NSFW right under the title. I don't know what that means. So if any other Reddit users know what that means, let me know. But anyway, this is Tomorrow, I'm Going to Ruin His Life. I've been with him for 3 years now. We planned on getting married when our lives settled down. I wanted to start a family with him. I loved him more than anyone else in this world. I've sacrificed so much for him, moved away from my home, turned down a job so I could stay with him, and stood by his side as he started to go back to school. I gave him my world, and he cheats on me. I found out over a month ago. The scumbag got cocky, and I found out he was cheating on me with 2 different women. One is a TA at his university. The other is his best friend's girlfriend. Oh, I am livid. I write this post choking back venom. I loved him so much. He was my world, but now he will be the world I burned to nothing but ash. I paid for everything since he quit his job last year to go to school. I was more than happy to help him. I make enough to support us both. The only upside is the student loans are in his name and no connection to me. It will hurt to push the scumbag out to sea, but I will survive. I have held out for a month, enough time to create what I call, quote, the day his world burns, end quote. Tomorrow we are hosting a party. I arranged for his family to come, but my family will sadly not be able to make it. I have packed everything valuable already, and the suitcase is in the back of my car. My brother will come during the event tomorrow to take the car that is in my name that the dirtbag drives to my parents' house. The joint account, which is all my money anyway, is already empty. The event will be great, and he thinks it is for us to announce our engagement to his family. What will happen in reality is I will announce my departure from his life. I've already taken a job out of state and have lined up a new place to live. I will start by telling everyone what he is into. The screenshots of him asking his friend's girlfriend to piss on him, and the many other fantasies his degenerate mind came up with will be passed around. I will hand him the notice to vacate, as I've already broken our lease. We need to be out by the end of the month. I will the end of by informing him. I will then end off by informing him I have already reported he was sleeping with TA for one of his classes the previous semester and the university, and that I am sad I won't see the fallout from that. His friend also has a message for him that I will deliver, informing that his friend group never wants to see him again as well. And with that, I will leave. I will not look back. I will set his life on fire and walk away. That's it. That's the end of the post. Oh my God. That's okay. Edit 2 hours and over 5K upvoted. I should have expected my story and planned to get popular. I will update once all is said and done. And then update. I have made an update. Go find it. So there is an update, but I frankly don't even know what to say. I would never. Maybe I'm just a pussy, but I could never set his life on fire and walk away. It's just not the type of person I am. I'm can't do that. Especially to announce it in front of his whole family. I can't do that. To hang around for a month knowing that he's cheated and make this whole plan to leave him, I couldn't do that. I don't know how you did that. It's sorry for the noise. I don't know what somebody is doing out there. I don't know what his side of the story is, but that's awful. She shouldn't have to go through that. I don't even know what to say. It's just so holy shit. I wonder how long he's been cheating for. I wonder what, he proposed to her. Obviously this party is supposed to be to announce their engagement. She's been supporting him through this whole thing while he's in school, paying all of the bills and whatever. I wonder, not that it justifies anything at all, but it makes me wonder what his reasonings were behind cheating. That it makes me, because unless you're a serial cheater and you just cheat to cheat, then cheating doesn't happen in a vacuum. So what, is he just a serial cheater, or is there something that led him to that? And like I said, it's not any sort of excuse. It's still awful, and yet I'm curious. I would not hear that and then be oh no, he's fine. No, he's not fine. But I would just be curious to know what it was that led him to that. We have to read the update. Yeah, I have to find it. Anyway, but first off, the top comment, there's so many comments. There are 10,000 comments. Top comment is, you better start your speech to his family with a recitation of all the ways you loved him and supported him. And as it goes on, they can get more suspicious of why you are even saying all of this. And a lot of people respond to that with more stuff. A lot of people asking for an update. Trying to find... Somebody says, I really hope you take your last night together and piss on him. That was the one part of the story I think I didn't like, was the whole like kink shaming thing. Except for the fact that it was cheating, but otherwise I'm not one for kink shaming. So it's like, that was like, you know, to show him how disgusting his fantasies and desires are. I was like, okay, like, yes, he cheated and that's awful, but you don't need to like really like rub salt into the wound. Like, do you? I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't know. But like, I have a hard time like relating to this girl because I could never. I'm like, I'm too much of a pussy maybe because I just could never. Like, yeah, there's no like, there's no like really like insightful comments or anything that I'm seeing so far. It's just a lot of like, holy crap, I want an update, and oh my god, that's insane, and blah 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 blah. Let's see if I can find the update. Oh my god. You want to know what the update is called? The update is called Yesterday I Was Supposed to Ruin His Life. What happened? She posted it in True Off My Chest, and then it got like removed, I think. Yeah, it was removed by the moderators. And then hold on, there's a comment from OP real quick on the original post, so I want to read it real quick. There's only 2 comments that OP ever responds to. And the one that actually says anything says, seems like a lot of effort to expend on someone not really worth your time. I'd just leave, tape the picture on the fridge, and go. And that's sort of like, that's more what I would do, that I would have a conversation with my partner first, because I don't think I could walk away without hearing it from them. But yeah, then I would pack a bag and leave. I would not plan this whole charade. But OP says, the truth hurts more so because what you say is 100% true. He is not worth it. He is a cheating scumbag who ruined my life. The sooner I cut him off, the better. But I lost everything the night I found out he was cheating on me. A piece of me died that night. Maybe I'm terrible, but thinking of just walking away without making him lose everything that he took from me, it kills me inside. So she's very much out for her revenge. And the other comment says, why wait until tomorrow when today is already here? And she responds and says, patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue that I don't have, so... Hold on, it's loading. I clicked on the update and it's loading very slowly. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Okay, here we go. So the post got removed from True Off My Chest, and I don't know, she seemed to just post it on her account instead of posting it in a subreddit. That way it wouldn't get removed. So it was good because then you can just go click on her thing and it pops up. You can go click on her account. But this was also 2 months ago, and like I said, it's yesterday I was supposed to ruin his life. I don't know why the post got removed. Don't ask me because I don't care. Here it is. They say that hubris is the downfall of man. Okay. Yesterday, I planned to ruin his life in front of his entire family. I worked for a month to create the scenario that would cut him the deepest. I had patiently waited for the chance to storm out of his world in a blaze of glory, and then I hit the front page of Reddit. I realized I had fucked up when he was not answering my texts and had not shown up hours after he told me he would be home. Oh no, he saw the post. I had hoped it was by accident, literally a car killing him before I had the chance, but no. I don't know how many men in the world are currently cheating on their soon-to-be fiance with their best friend's girlfriend and a TA. However, the one who mattered in my plan found my Reddit post. I called his mother and found out that he had run home to his parents. He told them we had a fight and that we were probably through. I was and still am livid. His mother asked me what happened as he left out a few details. So I decided to tell her that he was cheating on me with a TA and his friend's girlfriend. I soon heard shouting before she hung up. I texted my ex that he had until morning to return my fucking car before I reported it stolen, and screenshots of all of his texts and sent screenshots of all of his texts to his parents and siblings. My car was sitting in my driveway when I woke up. I contemplated sending the screenshots anyway, but his mother sent me a heartfelt text yesterday apologizing for her son's actions, and I feel they deserve to be spared from his degenerate actions. I and my father will be moving my stuff today, and I won't be coming back after that. I know you'll be reading this, you cheating fuck. You're a cowardly piece of shit. Just know that I am not above sending out all of the screenshots if you dare to come back into my life. Oh, and your ex-friends all know that you know about your piss and scat fetish. I can't control what they do with that information, so good luck with that. That's what it says. So because it ended up on the front page of Reddit, she didn't get her moment. And I feel kind of bad that she didn't get her moment. And yet at the same time, I think it was for the best, because I think it would have been a scarring, traumatizing moment for his family. And instead of the heartfelt apology that you got from his mom, you would have gotten anger. And I don't know if she would have cared that she got anger, but it would have been just anger. They would not feel bad for you because you let hellfire rain on him. And I guess he did too. So it's like, there is like an eye for an eye thing, but I always believe that you shouldn't fight fire with fire. It's just how I see things. That stooping to his level does not make you better, is not going to make you feel better. And so you leave with grace and dignity and your head held high, knowing that he is going to realize that he fucked up the best thing that ever happened to him, and not instead feel guilty down the road for fucking up his life as well. Because I would feel guilty, but maybe that's just me. The top comment says, I was ready for his life to crumble. I was excited to see it, but glad you are done with him. Find better. You deserve it after all he did. And really piss and scat, gross. Listen, again with the kink shaming. Enough with the kink shaming. We don't need to talk about that. I'm sorry, another comment says, I'm sorry your plan was ruined, but it's the thought that counts, I guess. In all seriousness, I'm glad it worked out for you in the end, and that little bitch decided to run to mommy and daddy instead of turning violent or some shit. All of the best for you in your new life. Next one. Can't lie, I expected this to backfire worse, and am a bit disappointed that the original plan did not work. But oh well, you still have a chance to crumble that bastard. You can still shame both of them and basically spread those screenshots like viruses. I mean, Facebook, Instagram stories, posts, heck, even email them out. Employers, bosses, exes, fuck. Everyone you can think of. Ruin both of their lives. Make them suffer. This is your chance. Take it. Be selfish for once and ruin everything of value they have left. Reputation. I don't know. I kind of disagree. This is not how I would have handled it. And I don't think this is the healthy way to handle it. But it makes for a really good story. And it makes for entertainment. Absolutely. But boy, it's not how I would have done it. So, but good for you. And I'm glad that she got out of there. I have to redo this because it's driving me crazy. I'm glad she got out of there. I'm glad that she is going to be okay. This was 2 months ago. I'd love to know what she's doing now, but there was nothing else besides this update. So I hope she's doing okay. I would love to know where she is now, but, you know, we got nothing. So that's kind of it for today's video. I'm going to go do some editing, and then I'll talk to you guys maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I need to call my employee and see what time she wants me to be there, but I'll talk to you guys tomorrow or Friday. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, August 18th. It's 2 in the afternoon. Today is going a little differently than I thought it was going to. So I'm not at my employee's today. She was gonna have, her aunt was gonna come to look after her baby because she is a 9-month-old, I think is how old he is. And, or maybe a 10-month-old. 11? He's not quite a year, but he's close. And, but then her aunt, like, got sick, like, wasn't feeling well and kind of canceled on her. And I was up until, like, good 3:30 a.m., like, could not fucking sleep, tried my best, took sleeping pills, did everything, could not sleep. And so then when I did fall asleep, I was asleep hard. But then I woke up at about 10:58 and was like, oh fuck. But I texted her at 3 a.m. because she had texted me last night saying, you know, my aunt's not feeling good. Like, I'll let you know for sure first thing in the morning. And I texted her at like 3 a.m. and I said, well, I haven't been asleep yet. So if your aunt does cancel, then it might be okay if we like pushed it back to next week. And just so that she knew if I was sleeping in late and that there's a chance that it would be canceled. And so she texted me this morning, said, yeah, my aunt's feeling awful. And I said, that's okay. I slept like garbage. I feel like garbage. So we'll just push it off till next week. But there was something that I wanted to talk to her about. And so I said, you know, when you get a second, when he's like taking a nap or something, just call me and we can talk. So copyright claim is that, excuse you. Okay, I just started posting a video. I just started posting an extra video for this week, and already there's a copyright claim on it. I wonder if it's like the music or something. They don't, it's so annoying. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Anyway, I just got that email and was like, God damn it, my very first copyright claim. Oh, ignore my pimple patch. I still have a pimple patch on I need to take off. Anyway, so I had a very, very slow start to my day. I really felt like kind of awful, like all day. I'm having like cramps, like really bad, like, I don't know. I have an IUD, and so I don't really get periods anymore. I get like I might get like a teeny tiny, like less than 24-hour long period that I barely even notice like once a year, maybe. But I've had my IUD since I was 16. And I kind of like haven't really had a full-blown period since. So I don't really get period cramps very often anymore either, but it feels like period cramps and it fucking hurts. So it's like I'm just feeling like a lot today. So I've been a little unproductive this morning. I did took the garbage out and whatever, but I've mostly just been like watching TV and like doing stuff on my phone, like any work stuff that I could from my phone, but I knew I wanted to sit down and film this, so I'm here. And then after this, I'm going to get pizza, because I would like some pizza. Whenever I meet with my employee, we usually get pizza, and now I'm like, well, we're not meeting, and yet I still want pizza. So that's what I'm gonna do. And Perry had an awful day yesterday, really just, he slept really awful the night before. We both did. So I really am like, I'm going to take a sleeping pill like early and just pray to God that I'm going to be able to sleep better tonight, because it's been 2 nights in a row of sleeping like shit. And so I feel awful. But he slept really awful. And then he had like a bunch of crap at work that he had to deal with. And then he realized he was feeling something weird in the back of his mouth. He was like, it's not painful, but it was almost like I felt something like a little sharp, like with my tongue. I felt it in the back of my, like on one of my molars, and looked in the mirror and realized that part of his tooth has like broken off. And he was like, I had no idea. He's like, I don't remember it breaking off. It doesn't hurt. I would have never known if I hadn't rubbed my tongue over it. And so when he went to go brush his teeth last night, he was like brushing over it like very carefully because he didn't know. And he was like, it doesn't hurt at all. Like, this is so weird. But you can see, like, so it must have just been like the enamel that broke off and it didn't hit like a nerve or anything. But you can see something from the layer that has broken off. You can see something underneath it. And so, because I took a look at it when he came home yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks like you definitely like a little part off of it. And we have no idea how it happened. So now he has to make an appointment with a dentist to get that fixed. And so he was frustrated about that. He just had a hard day. And so when he came home, I was like, what do you want to, I gave him his favorites, which was head scratches and back scratches. He loves them. It's part of why I wear acrylic nails. Partially because I like them, and partially because it gives him A1 back scratches. And so I gave him all of his back scratches, and he was like, oh, I'm just so happy to like be home and be with you. Like, it makes me feel better. And I was like, I know when I'm having a hard day that I really like when we like go on a date night together. I like when we go out to dinner and whatever. Food makes me feel better. Spending time with him makes me feel better. So it's like, that's always what I want to do when I have a hard day. So I told him, it's like, I will treat us to like date night if you want, if that would help you have a better day. Or if you want, we can just sit and chill and like, whatever would make you feel better. And he was like, no, I think a date sounds really nice. And I was like, okay, fantastic. And so we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. That's what he wanted. He wanted wings. So we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and it was a good time. And then this came in the mail yesterday. So I was telling you guys about the lav mic that I had, and it was a wired one. Oh, the FedEx truck is here, and Ash is fucking shit. Ash! He must have like tried to ring the doorbell or something, because she's flipping out. Apparently we just got a package. I'm so interested. I want to see what that is. I didn't know I had anything coming from FedEx. Anyway, like I was saying, I have a wired lav mic that is supposed to be compatible with iPhones, but it was not working with my phone. And so I asked you guys, and there was a comment that said, if you have an iPhone, you're probably better off with like a Bluetooth lav mic. And she said that like, that's what I have and it works really well. And so I went on Amazon and found a Bluetooth lav mic. It was like $30, so it was more expensive, but I think it'll be worth it because I tested it out last night when I got it, and it works really well. Like, you just plug this, it comes with the like receiver that you just plug into the bottom of your phone. It's a lightning cable because I have an iPhone. And then you have this piece that's the microphone that clips, and it like talks to each other, and you just plug it in and it's connected. And so like, I didn't even have to really do like any setup or anything. Like, it just plugs in and it works. You do have to, it did come with a cord, because you do have to like charge them every once in a while, but I also have to charge everything else in my life, so it's not that big of a deal. Like, literally my lighter, I have a lighter here for my candles. I have to charge this because it's it's like one of these guys. Ooh, and it needs to be cleaned. But I have to charge that like once every couple of months. So probably the same thing with this. But this came in the mail yesterday, works really well. I'm really excited about it. So for next week's videos, for Randa's Crafty Vlog and whatever, I'm going to be using this, and we're going to see how it sounds. I think it's going to be really good. So I got that in the mail yesterday, and then I was so excited because I've talked to you guys on here before about how I've been mucho antsy waiting for an engagement from Perry. I know it's coming. I'm trying to be patient. I'm not very good at it, but he's really good about like, I can talk about it as much as I want, as long as I'm not asking about when it's going to happen. But other than that, I can talk about everything. That, like, we've practically already picked out the ring that he wants, and we've talked endlessly about the kind of ring that I want. But usually it's me initiating those conversations, and he hasn't really told me anything. And he came home from work yesterday and he was like, "Hey, I have a question." I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like, "Have you ever heard of lab-grown diamonds?" And I was like, yes, I have. I was very mistaken though, because I thought they were very similar to like a moissanite, but they're not. They're identical to like natural diamonds. Like, even the testers in jewelry stores can't tell the difference between a lab-grown diamond and a real diamond, because they're chemically identical, but because it's grown in a lab and not mined out of the earth, it's much cheaper. It's still expensive, but it's much cheaper. It's more expensive than a moissanite, less expensive than a real diamond. Yet it's just as hard as a real diamond. It is a real diamond. It's just not mined out of the ground. And so he was like, I was doing some, and I didn't know that. He told me all of that. And so he was like, yeah, I was doing some research, like Googling today, and about the moissanite, whatever. And he was like, and then I came across lab-grown diamonds, and that seems like a much better idea. But he was like, I know when we were talking about the moissanite that you wanted a 1.5 carat. And I was like, and he was like, the lab-grown diamonds are more expensive, and I can't afford a 1.5. So are you dead set on that, or would you be okay with a 1 carat diamond? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm not dead set on 1.5. I'm not picky. I'm not hard to please. But he was like, I was like, just nothing less than a carat, because I have big hands. I'm 5'11". I wear a size 10 ring on my ring finger, on my other hand, but still. And so it's like, I do have big hands, so they're elongated, so they don't look as chubby, but I do kind of have sausage fingers. And so I'm a little worried that that's what I told him, is that I'm a little worried that anything less than a carat is gonna like get swallowed by my giant hands. Because they're big. They're big. Like, compared to, let me see if there's anything I can, like, this is a pen. Like, my hand is well bigger than the size of your average pen. So, I got some big hands, and I was like, I don't want my stupid big hands to like swallow it alive. I want people to be able to see and appreciate the ring. And he was like, no, I get that. But he was like, would you he's like, if you could choose between a 1.5 moissanite and a 1 carat lab grown diamond, what do you think? And I was just like, he brought this up. He's doing research. He's Googling about it. He's like, and usually, unless it comes to like motorcycles with Perry, when he starts like really truly Googling stuff like that, he's coming close to making a purchase. And so that's at least what I've seen from him in the past, that he will wait until like last minute to actually purchase anything. And so when he is like doing research about purchasing a diamond, a ring, I'm like, and then he comes and talks to me about it. Like, I know he's Googling. It's like, okay, it's coming. I know it's coming. And, I've always told him that I hope it will happen before our 3-year anniversary, which is October 2nd. So like less than a month and a half away. So I doubt it'll happen by then, but I'm hoping it'll happen by the end of the year. So by like New Year's. We'll see though, that like, I don't know. I try not to worry about it too much, but but then I was thinking about it because I've never tried on an engagement ring. I've only seen like pictures of them. And so I don't really know what kind of carat is really going to look good on my finger. I've always thought that 2 carats are probably too big. But 1.5 carat might be perfect. 1 carat, I was like, I wonder what that would look like on my hand. Because it's so hard when you just look at pictures of it to try to imagine like what that's going to look like. And so we spent like all of last night talking about it. And I did like an insane amount of research because also it is more expensive. Most of the rings that we've looked at are from on the low end $2,000 and on the high end $4,000 for a ring. And granted, if you just walk into a jewelry store and get a natural grown diamond, they'll quote you like 20 grand. So $4,000 is much better than that. And yet I'm like, I really don't want you to have to spend like an exorbitant amount of money. And he's like, and it's like, it makes me feel so guilty, especially because his ring is probably going to be no more than like $100. Like men's wedding bands are just not expensive. And so it's like, I feel so guilty that mine has to be this huge like purchase, and it makes me feel guilty. And he was like, but don't. Because he's like, it's like, you're going to wear it for the next 50 years or whatever. And so, he's like, that's part of why I'm leaning towards the lab grown diamond, is because nothing can scratch it or break it except for another diamond. And so he's like, and with moissanite is really hard. If you know, like the Mohs scale, the 1 to 10 on hardness, 10 being diamond, the hardest like thing on the planet, and moissanite is at a 9.25. So it is like the second hardest stone known to man, but there is still a possibility of it getting scratched. He saw some articles about people who have moissanites and them being scratched. And so he's like, it would piss me off so much if I like bought you a ring and then it got all scratched up because it wasn't like whatever. And so he was like, it makes me lean towards a lab-grown diamond that isn't gonna, like, scratch and whatever. And I was like, good point. I was like, but the rings on the band can be whatever. Like, the gems on the band can be whatever. But, like, the center stone, I understand. And so, but then I was doing a ton of research about like what 1 carat would look like on my finger. And I know that the best way to do that is to just go into a jewelry store and to like try one on. But I haven't done that. So instead I've done like extensive internet research, and I've been looking at like, there's apparently a website called Wedding Bee that is like it's like the Reddit of all things weddings. And I've seen so many threads that are like, can you show me what a 1 carat looks like? If you have a 1 carat and you have like larger fingers, can you show me what that looks like? And so I've been looking through all of those, and everything that I've seen, I go, oh my God, it's going to look gorgeous. Like I see people with similar finger types to mine, and I see a 1 carat on their finger, and I'm like, oh my God, it's going to look fucking gorgeous. It's going to look amazing. That it's like, yeah, it's not the biggest rock ever, but like, I've always told Perry I'm not picky when it comes to this. It's not about the ring. I don't think that like a smaller carat means that you don't love me or whatever. Like I've never been like that. It's about the sentiment and what it symbolizes and whatever. It's not about the ring itself. And yet at the same time, I'm going to wear it for the next 50 years. And so of course I have preferences. But we were doing a lot of research on that, and also doing research on what the best type of metal for his band would be. Because the most common that I see is like tungsten. And I'm pretty sure tungsten is like really like scratch resistant and stuff. But he wants like a black, and it's like black and has like a red stripe in the middle. And of course, tungsten doesn't just come like that. And so it's ion plated to make those colors happen. And I'm worried about the ion plating getting like scratched or whatever. So if you guys have any experience with anything like that, let me know. Because if we can get like that ring was like $45. Like it was like ridiculously cheap. So I don't know, I would get him that. And then I found him like a silicone one that looks identical to like the actual wedding band. And it like made me so excited. And he has said that he thinks, I was like, do you want to, it's kind of becoming a new thing that like men sometimes get their like wedding bands early or whatever and wear them as an engagement ring, same way I wear an engagement ring, instead of waiting until we get married. And so I was like, would you want to just get it early, or would you want to like get a silicone ring to wear while we're engaged and then get the real one when we get married? Or do you want to just wait until we get married or whatever? And he was like, I don't know, I think I would probably just go ahead and get it, like, and just wear it and whatever. I said, fantastic. So we were also talking about rings for him, whatever, and it was just so exciting. And so I've spent like so much time on all these websites or whatever. And then like I was digging in my jewelry drawer to see if I had anything like similar that I could compare it with. I really don't. Because the one ring that I have that has a gemstone on it is definitely bigger than a carat. And so it's like an aquamarine or something. No, like, what's the dark blue one? What's the December birthstone? Because that's what it is. And it's pear-shaped, and so it's like not quite the same. I want a round solitaire, and so it's like it's not going to be the same. But oh, it's at Lowe's, says my order has arrived. Maybe that's what the FedEx is I did order like a filter for our hose to prevent hard water. Anyway, maybe that's what that was. So it was hard to compare, but then I found like this ring. And so I'm just gonna, this is not my engagement ring. I just put this on like for fun. But I have this, it looks like a wedding band. I don't remember when I bought this. I don't know. I've never worn it on this finger like a wedding band, but I even just like put this on and like looked in the mirror and went like, oh my God, that looks so special. That it doesn't even have a gemstone on it, a big like center diamond. And yet it looks so special just to have it on, and it looks nice and sparkly and whatever. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be happy with whatever carat he gets me, because it's like, I think this feels very special. And so I've just been kind of wearing it today because fun. Sort of test out what it feels like to wear something on this hand. So yeah, it's been a fun time, but I just put this on. This is not like my engagement ring. But I would love to get a wedding band someday that looks very similar to like this, to stack on top of, or to stack underneath my engagement ring. And it's like between the engagement ring and this, it's like, no, my finger's going to be bling-a-ling-a-linging, you know? So yeah, it was just so cool. I was like, he brought it up. I didn't have to bring it up. I didn't have to say anything. He brought it up. But yeah, it was a good time. So I do have a, Reddit story for you today. And then I'm going to go get pizza. This is again from one of the like best of the subreddit True Off My Chest. And it was posted 10 months ago. It has been locked. The thread has been archived. Nothing else. But it has 78,000 upvotes, a ton of fucking awards. And the post, and apparently the account was deleted. So we can't see if there's any updates or comments from OP or anything, but we do get to read it. It says, 6 years ago, I switched my wife's cat with a more well-behaved look-alike. That's why I wanted to read it, because I feel like I would have lost my shit. Absolutely fucking lost it. Let's read it. 6 years ago, I swapped my then girlfriend, now wife's cat with a more well-behaved look-alike. She had an all-black cat that was extremely aggressive. It scratched everybody, hissed at everyone, and didn't use its litter box half the time. My wife insisted she could get it to behave better. One week she went out of town to visit her family, and I was supposed to go to her apartment and feed it. The first night I went over, it scratched the shit out of my arm. I joked to the cat that it's not special and I'll replace it if it scratches again. The joke stuck with me until I had thought about it enough that it wasn't a joke. The next morning I went to the local animal shelter, found an identical cat who was already litter box trained and acclimated to people, but he was a little skittish. Its old owner died of a heart attack, and the animal shelter people said they think that's why it is skittish. But overall, it was a lot friendlier and better behaved, and the skittishness would help it resemble the original cat. So I adopted it, took it to my wife's apartment, settled it in, then drove the original cat to the animal shelter a town over. I was paranoid my wife would find out if I took it to a local one. It's been 6 years since then. We got married 4 years ago. We still have the swapped cat. It answers to the original cat's name. My wife knows nothing. She loves this cat and brags about how much better behaved it is. Every time I see it, I feel like a total piece of shit. Edit, for the people saying the other cat was likely euthanized by the shelter, I double checked and the shelter I dropped it off at was still a no-kill shelter. That's better, but it doesn't fucking matter. You traded in your wife's cat. She probably loved that cat. It may have had some behavioral issues, but she probably loved that damn cat. And you didn't even have a conversation with her about it. You just exchanged her cat. I can't imagine that. I would be so furious. It would have totally sparked something. I don't know, maybe not thinking that he exchanged the cat, but it would spark something in me to go, why is suddenly the next day my cat is suddenly acting different? What? How? This guy's awful. I don't like it at all. You should feel like a piece of shit every time you look at that cat. I remember we had a cat when I was a kid, and we lived in the mountains, and apparently my sister and I had a very bad habit of leaving the door open, and then the cat would get out, and it never really went far. We were always able to bring her back into the house, but my mom told us over and over again, if you don't close that door, she's gonna get eaten by mountain lions, because we lived in the mountains. That was completely logical that that cat would have gotten eaten by mountain lions. And so I can't remember exactly what she told us as a kid. I think she told us that she either told us the cat did run away, or she told us that she found a loving family, that she found a loving family for the cat because we couldn't keep the door closed, and she didn't think it was fair to the cat to be eaten by a mountain lion because we couldn't keep the door closed. Which I understand it as an adult, but I remember going, oh, okay, I guess she, at least she found a good home for it. And then I realized later that my mom did not hand select a home for it, that instead she went to a shelter. And I was like, Mom, you got rid of our cat, and oh my God. I was so offended when I found out. But as an adult, I do get it. It's no, you don't. That's not fair to let that cat be eaten by mountain lions. And at the same time, I'm no, find a good home for it, a shelter. Oh. But anyway, this is ridiculous. This is not even any semblance of the truth, my mom told me. This is ridiculous. The top comment says, what episode of Seinfeld is this? And I don't know. I never watched Seinfeld, so, And then the next one says, I swear I saw a post a couple of years ago on relationship advice about a woman who swore her husband swapped her cat while she was away. It's so odd to read this one, LMAO. Yeah, I bet. I'm trying to see anything. And they're all talking about this other Reddit story. Oh yeah, they're saying that the one that it might have been was on relationship advice and said, my husband killed my cat while I was away. So it's I don't know. But and then they're saying the marriage timeline doesn't add up, and so it can't be the same thing, but a lot of people are talking about that other story. So one comment quotes where he says, every time I see it, I feel like a total piece of shit. And they respond and said, so like you perpetually feel like a total piece of shit then? And the next comment says, that's because he is a piece of shit. It's like, no, he is a piece of shit. So, but you know, this is not a place where people give like advice or whatever. And so, there's not a lot of like, oh my God, how dare you? Because that's not the point. Your comment would get deleted. And this says, if this is real, under no circumstance should you ever tell her. You will completely destroy her trust. And then the next comment says, I mean, he doesn't really deserve her trust, does he? And that's what it's like, I don't think the whole, like, under no circumstance should you ever tell her. It's like, I would think she deserves to know that her husband is a lying piece of shit. But that's just me. So anyway, that's it for today. My employee just called me, so I need to call her back. That was the story. He's a fucking piece of shit. I can't believe he did that. I wish there was like an update of like her finding out or whatever, but there just isn't. So, that's it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for the last clip of this vlog. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is Friday, August 19th, 11:29 in the morning. I'm still fucking tired. It's like, you know, after 2 horrible nights of sleep in a row, last night I was feeling like garbage. And so I did everything I could to make sure I would sleep well last night, and I definitely slept better, but I still don't feel great today. I probably need like a couple days of good sleep to like really make up for it. So, but I'm feeling better. There's something I wanted to say, now I forgot. But, so I'm having a bit of a slower start to the day, and then, I wanted to do this real quick, and then I'm gonna go have a lazy rest of the day, because, yikes. I just feel like kind of garbage. So, but that's about it. Like, nothing, I just felt like crap last night. Like, I was nauseous, I was exhausted, it was not a good time. But yeah, thankfully I'm feeling a little bit better today. I want to diamond paint today. I want to hang out. I'm so like zombie. So, but oh yeah, and I thought I even like had it in my planner and everything. I thought I had a primary care appointment this week. I don't. That's next week. So, yeah. I think that's all I have to tell you. I don't think I have anything like insano in the braino to tell you. Yeah, that's it. So I do have some crafting to show you. So I have literally no idea what this looked like the last time I showed this to you. I think I was like starting this down here. So I've done this little wheel thing, the water coming off of it, the bird that's sitting on top of it, and then it says Jacob's something over here. So I started writing that, and then I'm gonna need to like fill it in and whatever. But yeah, it's going along really well. I'm getting close. I didn't bring my diamond painting in here to show you, but I'm getting really close. I think I only have like 2 rows left before it's done. And then I can start on another one. So that'll be a good time. But anyway, I'm just going to kind of like get on with it and do the Reddit story because I don't think I really have a lot to tell you. We're celebrating my sister's birthday tomorrow, and I'm very excited about it. And, that's the only plan for the weekend so far. So, yeah, that's it. We'll see. So, this is a new Am I the Asshole post from like last night. It was posted 8 hours ago. It's not like crazy upvotes, but it has a good amount of upvotes. And it says, am I the asshole for telling my parents why I hate my name? And I was curious to see what she had to say about this, because I personally don't like my name either. I never really have. And And I can tell you a little bit more about that as we go on, but I wanted to hear what she had to say. Okay, so it says, okay, so basically, I, female 16, had 3 older siblings, John, Julia, and Jess. John and Julia are twins, and Jess was about 3 years younger than them. Jess had a lot of medical issues as a kid, according to my parents. She was born too early and had a lot of breathing issues, etc. 2 months before I was born, when Jess was 4 and the twins were 7, Jess died. Yikes. I was never told exactly how, but I knew it had something to do with her medical issues. My parents were distraught, and when I was born, I was named Jess. Oh. After my older dead sister. That's so interesting. I would have, See, the issue with that, being directly named after the dead daughter starts up problems. My older siblings refuse to call me by my name. They call me by my middle name or just don't refer to me at all. And as a kid, I always wanted to be friends with them, but they're a good 7 years older and have apparently already bonded enough with the original Jess. Yeah, it's like, so they're 7 years older. Jess was only 3 years younger than them. And, okay, so if she's 16, this involves math. If she's 16, the twins are 7 years older than her. Don't make me do this kind of math. I'm tired. Okay, 4. 23? Is that right? So they're 23. So that means Jess would have been 20 and she's 16. So they were only 3 years apart. They grew up together. We don't know when. It doesn't say when. Oh, wait, 2 months before I was born, Jess died. So they were, jeez, I can't fucking do math. They were kids, but they were like old enough to know what was going on. The twins were. So, so they were like 7 when she died. And she was 5. Jeez. Why would you name your daughter after your dead, why would you name her the same name as your dead daughter? I don't understand the decision making behind that, but maybe that's just me. That they've already bonded enough with the original Jess that they don't really want to interact with me. My parents are even weirder. They put photos of original Jess on, they put photos of original Jess, I assume, up on my birthday and look like they're about to cry whenever they say my name. They constantly bring up Jess. If I get a bad grade, they'll go on about how Jess would have done so much better. Or if I said I was feeling sick, they told me I couldn't be as sick as Jess was and to stop faking for attention. Don't even get me started on my parents' friends because they just keep giving me weird looks. I can't live out of the shadow of original Jess, which sounds horrible, but honestly, it's true. Your parents made a big fucking mistake by renaming you Jess after your dead sister. And then the awful treatment of you and the awful comparison between you and the Jess that died. It's horrible. Why would you do that to your kid? That's why when I first heard that she was named after her dead sister, I was like, maybe there's a reason behind it, but I can't see any good outcome that comes from that. Oof. A few days ago, my mom found a letter from my old school where they used the nickname Anna, my middle name, and my mother blew up on me. She called me ungrateful and said that I was ruining my sister's image and good name and destroying her soul or something. And I blew up on her too, explaining why I hated using the name Jess and how it was stupid naming me that and how I can't keep living in the shadow of a kid who died nearly 17 years ago. Harsh, I know, but I was angry. My mom, dad, family, friends, and even my own friends are telling me that I'm the asshole here, that I shouldn't have gone off on her, but my siblings are saying that I said what needed to be said, and to be honest, I like having their approval. So am I the asshole for telling my mom why I hate my name? Absolutely fucking not the asshole. Your parents are kind of awful for renaming you that, for naming you after her, and then using it against you. It doesn't, I know that it's like, it feels like that their logic behind it was like trying to bring Jess back. And I understand that they are grieving like fucking crazy. And so they're trying to hold on, especially it was only 2 months before OP was born that Jess died. It was 2 months. And so they are in an insane whatever stage of grief, probably denial, if like the no, Jess isn't gone, we'll just name this one Jess and she'll be the new Jess. Like, but that is an unbelievably horrible thing to do, especially because I don't know if it's worse that OP never actually met Jess, or if it would have been worse if they had had like a relationship or what, that like, I don't know which one would be worse. Both of them suck. So no, you're not the asshole at all. You're getting horrible treatment for the most part from your siblings and your parents because of your name. You didn't choose this life. You didn't choose this name. They did this to you. And I'm glad that the siblings are on her side about this. Like, everybody else needs to, like, calm the fuck down, because this is awful. This has nothing to do with, this is in no way similar to why I don't like my name. But, like, this is so much worse. So, yikes. No, you are not the asshole, and I have to see what the comments say, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about why I hate my name. Top comment says, not the asshole, not even a little bit. Honestly, I think it's super twisted that they named you after her. They robbed you of your own identity because they hadn't processed their grief. That's what I said. I know it was never done. I know that them naming her that, and probably even the comments, are not done, like, ill-intended from the parents. It's from their grief. So it's like, that doesn't excuse their behavior by any means. They're still shitty as fuck for it, but it might explain a little bit as to why that's the case. The next one says, right, OP is definitely not the asshole. In fact, this whole story reads like the beginning of a good creepypasta or no sleep. I don't know. Are those subreddits or something? I don't know what that means. I hope that they can find some peace and that OP continues to use her own unique middle name. Also good on her siblings for standing behind her on this issue. That's what I was thinking, is like, I would totally go by my middle name. Her name's Anna. It's a very, like, her middle name is Anna. It's a very common, like, name that you would use for a first name, whatever. Most middle names are. And so it's really helpful that she has a really nice middle name that she can then go by in school and go by, that she does not agree with this, and so she doesn't have to use the name Jess. It's what your name is, like, whatever you decide it is once you get to the point of that. And the next comment says, or change your first name legally when you turn 18. Get your siblings' input. They could be helpful. I think it would make a lot of sense to change your name to Anna. I mean, it could be whatever you want, but it seems like you've been kind of using that for most of your life, and so it might be an easy transition. Jeez. Everybody is saying not the asshole. She was 4. This one says, also, she was 4. How the fuck would they have known she could have done better in school, especially being medically fragile, which can lead to lots of time out of school for medical reasons. Yeah, she's 4. She probably wasn't even in school yet. It's shitty and stupid to compare them anyways, but comparing a teen to a 4-year-old, and it's the grief process that I completely understand the parents' grief behind it, and yet it's still wrong. Nonetheless, it's still wrong. Jeez. So, yeah, not the asshole at all. That's crazy. I've never heard anything like that before. Fuck. It's not at all the reason why I hate my name. So my legal name is Miranda. I've been called Randa since the day I was born. That was what my parents intended on naming me, was Randa. And then like last minute in the hospital, they decided that they wanted to like give me some options. And so they put Miranda on my birth certificate so that I could either do Miranda or Randa, whatever. I get their process behind that. And yet then they never entertained Miranda. It was always Randa. And so I don't even really like see Miranda as my name because I've never been called that, except for because it was on my legal birth certificate. That's what showed up in school. That's what showed up when at any workplace that I ever worked at. And so I spent my entire life correcting people because I didn't associate with the name Miranda. I'd never been called that before. And so I spent my entire life going, no, it's Randa. And then people would get confused because it's a weird fucking name and nobody else has named that. And there's like maybe a solid 10 people in the world named Randa. It's quite rare. And so everybody always had a hard time pronouncing it. I never thought it was particularly like pretty or anything. And then after years of correcting, I really didn't like it. But I asked, where the fuck did you pull Randa out of your ass? When I was an adult, I think I asked my dad that. And he was like, well, I had a friend in high school named Randa. And he then went on to tell me about her and tell me, the story and whatever. And I don't remember if he specifically said, like, I had a crush on her or anything, but he either did, or the way that he talked about her, he had, like, fucking hearts in his eyes. Like, you could tell, I knew they never dated, and yet you could tell he, like, had this big fat crush on her in high school. And so I was like, I came out of that conversation going, so you're telling me that you named me that I was named after my father's high school crush. What? Why would you do that? And then like many years later, I told my mom, I was like, did you know that he like had a big fat crush on her in high school? And that's, whatever. And she looked at me and she was like, what? I knew that was like a friend of his in high school, but I never even like, I don't know. I just didn't. And I was like, I don't know. I've just never liked it. I've never liked it. I don't like that it came about like that. I've never liked it in general. And then I had to like spend my entire life teaching people how to say it and correcting them when they pronounced it wrong. And I've had a couple of people in my life say, like, I'm sorry, I have to just call you Miranda because I physically cannot pronounce it. Cannot pronounce Randa. It doesn't, like, happen for me. And I'm like, well, fine, I guess I'm going to be Miranda then. Like, even though I don't relate to it at all. So it's hard because I've just never liked it. Yet I've never, and my middle name is not like a typical, like it's not Marie or Anna or anything like that. My middle name is after my grandmother, and my grandmother's name is Toby, which is normally assigned, like is typically thought of as a boy's name. And so it's not like I could have just like taken over my middle name. That didn't suit me either. And not only that, but then I got ridiculed my entire life for having a boy's name as my middle name, which didn't help. And so it's like I have never been able to go by anything else. And so I feel kind of stuck with the name. And if it were up to me, I would change it. But I would be like pulling a name out of thin air. Like I don't have anything else to go off of. Whereas this is really helpful. She's been going by Anna for most of her life, and so it makes sense. And I asked my mom one time, I was like, what were the other name options? Like, did you guys just like Randa, or did you have any other options? And she was like, actually, we came really close to like naming you Gabriella and calling you Gabby. I was like, why the fuck did you not do that? Why did you not do that? that she was like, it made it sound like you were like gabbing all the time, like you were really like overly talkative or whatever, like she gabs all the time, and I didn't want that association. And I was like, but I do gab all the time, like it's very accurate. It would have been a perfect name for me. It fits very well. So so I was always kind of like, damn it, why did you go with this weird out of the box name? I don't know, I've never liked it. So one of the things that I have said since I was a kid, and that I've definitely talked with Perry about, is that when we get married, I'm not like a super traditional person, but I've always dreamed of taking my husband's last name. And so and there's a lot of other reasons why I am totally fine to get rid of my last name. But that goes deeper into like family history and stuff. But so it's like, no, I always knew I wanted to take my husband's name, pretty much no matter what it was. And thankfully, Perry has a very nice last name. And so I'm more than excited to take it. And I told him, when we get married and I'm legally changing my name anyways, I'm just going to legally change it to Randa so that it stops showing up as Miranda. I don't associate with that. I've never been called that, like, unless it was a mistake. And so, like, just get rid of it completely. Just get rid of the Miranda, stop with the confusion, just have it be Randa. But if it were up to me, I would change it to something completely different. I can't imagine at this point in my life changing my name to something like completely different, like pretty much drawn out of a hat. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I do think I'm kind of stuck with it. And there's also a part of me that wants to change my middle name as well. I would like to just get rid of it. I'd like to just not have a middle name. But I know that legally that's not an option. There are a lot of people that are born without middle names. I've met a lot of people that don't have middle names, but yet for some reason, because my mom said when she got married to my stepdad, she was trying to get rid of her middle name and that they wouldn't let her, that you have to have something there. And so I think instead of spelling out her middle name, she just put the initial D. And so it's like, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just change it to an initial or whatever. But like, frankly, I'd like to just get rid of it in general. It's more of like, I got made fun of it for my whole life. And so I don't have like this, like, I don't know, like touching like value towards it or whatever. And it also didn't help that I was extremely jealous of the fact, still kind of am, that they gave my sister a beautiful name. I was like, why? Like, her middle name is like, so my sister's from Vietnam. She was adopted. And so they, like, while, or whatever, I don't remember if it was while they were in Vietnam or something, they went to, like, these Buddhist monks, and the Buddhist monks chose her middle name, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And I'm like, why didn't I get a pretty name? I want a pretty name. I didn't get a pretty name. So it's like, no, I just have never liked it. But my parents know I don't like it. Like, I've told my mom before that, like, why the fuck didn't you name me Gabby? That would have been so much better. But they're all, they've never been offended by it either. That I think my mom was like, yeah, in hindsight, I wish we never put Miranda on your birth certificate. It doesn't make any sense. And I was like, that's what I thought. So, but that's more like, just like, I'm picky about it. And it's like, well, if you hate your name so much, why did you put it in your business? I don't know. like the name of my business has my name in it. It's Randa's Crafty Corner. So, like, why did I do that? I don't know. I don't know, but I did. So, like, no, I'll keep it Randa, but I'll take Miranda out because fuck, and just be Randa, because holy shit. But I thought this was going to be something similar, that, like, she just didn't like it, sort of like mine. I just don't like it. And, but no, this was much, much deeper than that. Oh my God, it's awful, completely awful. So It was only 8 hours ago, but let's see if she has any comments or anything fun. No. Oh, she's had a lot of stuff before. There's another one in r/family that she wrote that says, how do I tell my uncle I'm uncomfortable with him inviting random people over without telling me before? And she's asked that in many different subreddits, and it's gotten removed. But then this was her most recent one, is, am I the asshole for telling my parents why I hate my name? And she hasn't answered any of the comments. So I hope that, yeah, the minute she turns 18, that she just changes her name, that she doesn't ever go by Jess, that she only goes by Anna from here on out. I think that's a good, whatever for her, a good situation for her. And I feel bad for her, and I hope that your siblings, instead of kind of like hating you for it, can start to realize that you didn't fucking pick that name, and that they can kind of stand by you and support you through all that nonsense. So anyway, that's where I'm going to end with this today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I was actually able to film every single day this week. This video is going to be like 3 fucking hours long. I'm so sorry. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you had a great week and that you're going to have a great weekend. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!